All right, we're here live with recent NAIA All-American Stephanie Johnston. Stephanie, welcome back from Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Thank you.
Stephanie just got back late last night after about a week in Gulf Shores, Alabama, competing in the 10K and the 5K at the NAIA Outdoor Track and Field National Championship. Stephanie brought home two All-American finishes in the 10K and the 5K. So we're live here on Facebook, kind of getting a recap before she goes home to Canada for summer break. Stephanie, thanks for your time today. Just go ahead and start off by talking about another experience at the NAIA Championships.
This year, for outdoors, it was neat to be there because I've never been to outdoor nationals before. And compared to indoors, there's actually more teams because not every school has an indoor track team, but all the schools have an outdoor track team. So there was a lot more competition that I maybe didn't see indoors in the 5K. There's no 10K indoors, but those distance girls more come out for outdoor nationals just because there's more opportunity for them. And just to be there experiencing the competition and the different weather and just some of the events that happened in terms of during my race and having to be prepared for 3 days of races, that was new for me too.
Talk about, you mentioned you never competed at the outdoor championships, but you also had cross country championships under your belt this year in the fall, and then also indoor. Talk about how those championship environment and atmospheres kind of help prepare you for the first outdoor one.
I mean, definitely having other nationals prepares you for the nerves, I think. There's definitely new nerves going into a different type of event, but you kind of know in your mind what to expect in terms of, okay, maybe I will be nervous for the start of the race, but I know how to get through that because I've experienced it before at another nationals. So you just kind of take the feelings you've had at other nationals, compare them to the one you're at, and then like, oh wait, I've done this before. It's not really new, it's just new in the sense that it's a new title.
Right. Last year you had one All-American finish. This year you had four, all in different seasons. So one in cross country, one in indoor, and then two at most recent outdoor. Would you consider this a breakout year, or what do you think allowed you to make this big of a jump?
It definitely comes down to the coaches. I think they just know how to push me, when to push me, and they know how to get progress out of me. So definitely in the past years they've gotten stuff out of me. I think this year it was just finally at the point where it was like, okay, now you can be competitive and you can improve to the point where you can now compete at a higher level and finish at a higher level. And it definitely just comes down to what they were able to get out of me.
Good. And as far as that preparation goes, kind of give us your play-by-play or analysis of the first event you did was the 10,000 meters.
Mm-hmm.
First event, talk about what that was like going through. You had some adversity you can tell us about with your shoelace and just, kind of staying with the pack, went out slow and then able to finish strong. Kind of give us your analysis there.
So for the 10K, it did start out really slow, a lot slower than what I would have liked. I think going through the mile, we were at 6 minutes or slower. I know through the 5K we were at 18:32, which is kind of a slow start. And it took a while to pick up. Eventually it did. There was people pushing everywhere. And so many girls were tripping over each other's feet, and I think that's when my shoe came untied, because I would trip on someone would trip on the back of my shoe, and then I would trip on someone's heel in front of me because everyone was so close in the pack, and it just kind of pulled my laces apart, even though they were triple tied. I don't know how they came undone, and I just all of a sudden I felt my shoe kind of give, and I was like, oh no, I'm not even gonna look. I was like, I know what has happened. So I knew my shoe was tight to my foot, because spikes are a tighter shoe compared to what you would normally run in for just an easy run. And so I was like, okay, I just have to get through it. As long as no one clips the back of my heel, my shoe won't come off. And even if my shoe was going to come off, I was still going to finish the race. But I'm glad it didn't, because that probably would have set me up for a rough 5K if I had to run on the track with no shoes. But it was definitely fun. Everyone moving in a pack was nice in a sense, because you mentally could kind of turn off. So we just continued running, and when someone would go or try and pick up the pace, I would just try and go with them.
Good. And then as far as that, be able to fight through the adversity there a little bit, remain focused. I think, once you found your rhythm, talk about kind of the last 100 meters there, kind of going all the way from first to second to third, and, how that finish played out for you.
Yeah, well, with 600 to go, I kind of knew, okay, I have to give something here. I don't really have a kick, so I have to make a bit of a gap for myself with more time to go. So I think I passed a couple girls at the 600 meter mark, because I think I was in fourth. And then I passed two girls, but then going into that last probably 300, the two girls that I passed started coming up behind me, and they started battling for the third place spot, and then the one girl who was battling for third ended up passing me just right at the finish. And I heard her coming from behind, and I tried to turn my legs over as fast as I could, but she just beat me at the line.
And then talk about what that finish was like, being able to kind of be done with everything, and after, 25 laps or so around the track,
yeah.
You're finally done. What did you feel there to be able to finish third and lock in your first All-American finish there at Outdoors?
I mean, it was really exciting, and just to know that I completed the three season All-American was definitely a good accomplishment to feel. But once the awards were over, I was like, okay, now I have a 5,000 to run.
And then, talk about that. Then you didn't really have much time to celebrate. You had the trials the next day, and then the championships the following day. Talk about the quick recovery and how you were able to regroup and focus there.
Yeah, I mean, first priority was just recovery. So I dinner, and I got in the recovery boots that the trainers lent me, and went to bed. And then I woke up and got back in the boots and stretched and just relaxed and made sure that I was physically ready, but then also mentally ready. I had to kind of relax from the 10K, but then prepare myself to go a little faster in the 5K.
We have a couple more questions here with Concordia's most recent NAIA All-American, Stephanie Johnston. We have a couple people that are joining us on Facebook Live. If you have any questions for her, feel free to send those our way, and we'll get those asked for. But Stephanie's talking about her 5K performance right now. Just finished the trials, and then was able to place 7th, kind of on a unique, a little bit more of a different race and style. Stephanie decided to go out and take the early lead. Stephanie, talk about your kind of strategy going into the 5K there.
So for the prelims, the goal was just to qualify. I was thankfully in the second heat, so I was able to know the time that would get me in. So the goal was just to qualify, and then that happened. So going into the finals, I knew I was tired. I just physically and mentally knew I was tired, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to get All-American again, just to put Concordia's name up on that podium again. So I knew if I wanted that opportunity, like I said, I don't have a kick, so I just knew I had to make a big gap for so I took the race out, and I felt good, and I think the heat kind of got to me, as well as the 2 races previous to that, but I wouldn't have changed anything I did, because it was a fun experience, and knowing that I was making this gap for myself and kind of trying something new in a race strategy, because next time I go out and race, I know that I can do that again and hold it for longer, because I know that I haven't reached my limit. I know I still have a lot of room to grow in that sense, and I think I can take what I learned from nationals and move into next season with an advantage, in a sense, knowing that I'm definitely nowhere near where I can be.
Good. Along those lines too, I think a lot of people may not realize, and you didn't obviously compete at it in the NAIA championships, but you also submitted a time to the NAIA for the half marathon earlier this year here in Ann Arbor. For the times that was submitted, it was 5th overall among NAIA participants. So you've done the 10K, 5K competitively, have a half marathon on your belt. Where do you see kind of moving forward? Are you looking more at the long distance events, or where could you see yourself, with your last year of competition kind of settling in at?
Yeah, I think definitely for my last year, I'm going to stick with the 5 and the 10K. But then after Concordia, definitely going into marathons and half marathons. I think doing a marathon takes a lot longer for your body to actually mature into that point of being able to run 26.2 miles consistently and have your body be healthy to do that. So definitely next year, I think probably sticking with the 10, 5, still indoors doing like the 3,000 and the mile, but that'll be as short as I go.
And where do you go from here? Obviously, you're on officially on summer break as of today, going back to your home in Canada. What type of rest and recovery preparation? When's your next workout planned?
I get about a week. So Sunday I'll probably do my first run back. And from there I'll just be doing some fun 5Ks on the road and just competing, but for fun.
Good. Last question then, just kind of talk about overall, I'm sure you have, you mentioned in one quote in the recent article, fans to thank, coaches, teammates, as you kind of wrap up here this junior year, kind of any last memories, being a 4-time All-American this year, 5th in your career, any other final words you'd like to say here as we wrap up this Facebook Live video?
I mean, I definitely wouldn't be able to do what I do without my teammates pushing me at every practice or cheering me on for every lap of my race, because there's a lot of laps, and I can't thank them enough for sitting there and cheering me on for all of them, and just teachers and professors for understanding when I have to go for these events, and coaches for encouraging me and coaching me to do what I do, and my parents for always following me and encouraging me to do my best, and just everyone that makes this journey enjoyable. And I love running. It's what I love, and being able to share it and experience it with others makes it even better.
Good. Well, again, congratulations on another record-breaking season here at Concordia, completing your junior year. Again, congratulations on your accomplishments this year. Look forward to watching you compete and perform next year, and have a restful, hopefully a little bit, and fun summer. Thanks. NAIA All-American, Concordia Cardinal Junior, Stephanie Johnston. Thanks, Stephanie.